Hey everyone, welcome back to Sarah J. Awesome. I don't know about y'all, but I'm freaking exhausted. I stayed up till 4:45 this morning so that I could upload my first 24 hours using the full self-driving subscription. And I feel like this video is probably going to be more important for everyone. I'm going to tell y'all what I really think. Is it really worth $200 a month? I am not rich by any means at all. Currently, right now, the full self-driving monthly subscription has 5 features. And there is a 6th feature that is going to be released later this year, and they have not told us when it's going to be released. The full self-driving subscription is $199 a month, and it includes navigation on autopilot only for the freeway. It does not include navigation on city streets yet. Number 2, it includes auto park. I thought that this was only for parallel parking, but apparently people said that you can use it for regular parking. I haven't been able to try it out. Number 3, auto lane change. This feature seems to work very, very well. Number 4, smart summon. I did try this out. The first time I called the car to me, it worked really well. And the second time I walked off further and it wouldn't come to me. But that could have been user error because this is my first time using them. So I don't know what I'm doing. I wanted to see how intuitive everything is, how user-friendly, because I have not watched any how-to videos, because I just had it set in my mind that I was never going to have full self-driving. And then wham, bam, all of a sudden I am a full self-driver. Number 5, stoplight and stop sign recognition. It will stop at stoplights, slow down for yellow lights, and go through green lights. And it will also stop for stop signs and then go again. The 6th thing that is supposed to be included with full self-driving is auto steer on city streets. This is currently not released in this full self-driving subscription, but it is listed on there that it will be released later and included in the same subscription, but it's not released yet. So here is the big question right now. Is the full self-driving subscription worth $200 a month? Some of you have said, no, it's absolutely not worth $200 a month. There's no freaking way. Some of you had said, absolutely freaking yes, I already subscribed. And some of you have already paid for full self-driving. Who's right in this situation? Honestly, everybody is 100% right in their answer no matter what it is. If they say it's not worth it, and if they say it is worth it. And I do want to point out 2 things right off the bat, okay? If you are one of those people that cannot afford $200 a month for full self-driving, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and you're not missing anything. And I'm not saying that it's not worth $200 by saying that. If you're just freaking driving this car yourself and you're in complete control, this car is a freaking blast to drive. This full self-driving subscription is a complete luxury. It is not a necessity in any way, shape, or form. Number 2, I was a full self-driving virgin until yesterday. I knew absolutely nothing about full self-driving. I've never even watched hardly any videos because I'm just like, why am I going to watch this? I can never afford $10,000, right? But I considered myself to be an expert on the basic included autopilot. I use autopilot about 70 miles a day, 5 days a week. I drive 100 to 120 miles a day for work. And I am perfectly fine with utilizing the basic autopilot. If you're not comfortable and you're still nervous with the basic free autopilot that's included with the car, you need to get comfortable with that first, because this is like a whole new ball game with this full self-driving stuff. I'm not saying that it's difficult, but if you're not comfortable with just the other basic things, then you're not going to be very comfortable with all these new things added to that. So because this decision, is it worth it or not, is different for every single person, it's just a decision that you're going to have to make on your own. So the best way that I know how to help everybody that watches this video decide is tell you if I think it's worth it to me or not. And I'm going to go through my list of how I decided it was worth it to me. It's basically just tally marks. Yes, is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. Or maybe it's going to be worth it later when they include the 6th feature. Get out your pen and paper right now, go through this list with me, and listen to the things that I kind of touch on with each feature and decide for you, would I pay money for this feature? And let's not even think about the $200. Just think about, would you pay money for it, period. Now, we're just going to consider that all of these features work properly because this car learns. I know that for an absolute proven fact because this car drives better than it did when I got it 9 months ago, just from software updates. And I've already experienced with full self-driving that it's a lot more capable with merging and exiting and things like that than my basic autopilot was. All right, so let's get started on this list. Is each feature worth paying money for? We have yes, we have no, and we have maybe later when they add the sixth feature. Number 1, navigate on autopilot. It will only navigate currently on the freeway. It will not navigate on city streets, because if you have to take a turn right or left, you will have to take over. For me, I live in Houston, Texas, and there is a ton of construction everywhere all the freaking time. This leaves a lot of room for errors. It changes exits all the time. It shuts down exits. There's a lot of factors to consider. It's too much for any artificial intelligence. It's often too much for any human being's brain to deal with all this construction and the changes that happen daily. I'm going to say it's not worth paying money for every month. I would rather just do it myself. The answer is no. Number 2, auto park. The only places that I parallel park is downtown Houston or Galveston. For me, the auto park is not worth paying money for every month. However, I have been to Philly when I went to New York a few years ago, and I have never freaking seen that much parallel parking in my life. I didn't even know that there was like places that you had to parallel park like that. It's insane. I don't know how these people get in and out of these places. We're talking they had like 2 inches on each side, like front bumper and back bumper. Like that's how much room they had. I don't know. They had these plastic bumpers on there on their front and back of their car that are like super ugly. Not and it's purely so that they like don't damage their car when people are like running into them trying to get in and out of this parallel parking. I've never seen anything like it. If I lived in Philly, would I pay every month for parking assist? Heck yeah. Shut up and take my money. I'll pay $1,000 a month for auto parking. But again, for my personal situation, I live in Houston, so I'm not going to pay for auto parking. No. Number 3, auto lane change. I freaking love this feature. It works very, very well in my opinion, better than I do. The car will either get over because you turn your turn indicator on. If it's on full self-driving navigation and it decides that it needs to get over for an exit, it will either ask you, or if you have it set to where it'll just go without your permission, then it will just switch lanes to exit without your permission. Or number 3, if there's someone going really slow in front of you and you have your speed set higher than them, it will get over and go around those people and get back up to the speed that you have it set at. I freaking love it. It seemed to be working on city streets and on the freeway. I had no issues with it. It was very efficient, very quick, but not too quick. Like, I was very impressed with the auto lane change. So I will absolutely pay for auto lane change. That's going to be yes over here. Number 3, auto lane change. Number 4, smart summon. I had some issues with that. The first time that I used it, I didn't know what I was doing, but I figured it out pretty quickly. It had no issues at all. It came right to me and it was like amazing. Like, it was so cool. This was the number 1 thing that I have been wanting full self-driving for. I really wanted Summon to play with and show it off, and it worked super well the first time I used it. But then I guess I did something wrong, or I don't know what happened, but I went and walked further after it had already reached me and reached its destination, and then it didn't want to come to me any further. So that may have been user error. I don't know how to use it yet. That was my first time. But would I pay monthly to show off Summon to people? Like, I show people at work my car all the time. I let them test drive my car, my coworkers, my family, my friends, everyone, my neighbors, my general contractor for my house. I let him test drive my car. I love showing off my Tesla. It's my thing. It's what I do. So would I pay every month to be able to like call my car to me? Absolutely freaking yes. Yes, I will pay for that. Yes. Number 5, traffic light and stop sign control. I'm going to just consider this because it won't turn on city streets yet. That's going to come later. So we're only talking about going straight. Is it worth paying for the car to stop on its own at a stop sign and stop at a red light and slow down for a yellow light and go through a green light? Absolutely. I freaking love it. It worked extremely well, even at night last night when I was testing it out. I have no issues with it. I love it. I do hate that I had to confirm every time for a green light, but that may be a setting that I can change. I don't fully understand it yet. This was just my first time using it, and I fell in love with it. We have so much traffic here in Houston, and it's been so annoying. I can use autopilot for a little bit, basic free autopilot on city streets, but when I would get to a light, then I would have to disengage and then re-engage after I go through the light. Now I don't have to do that anymore. It does it for me. It stops and goes with traffic. I love it. Will I pay for that every month? Absolutely freaking yes. Now, number 6, auto steer on city streets. I cannot wait for this. Since it's not released yet, I can't put that as a yes yet, because you may want to wait to purchase this full self-driving subscription until they add that later. These other things may not be enough for you. Will it be a yes later? I'll say yes, but I can't say that now because it's not added right now. So we're talking about right now. I'll just have to put maybe later over here with the steering on city streets. And I'm sure then it will move over and be a yes. But for now, right now, today, is full self-driving worth $200 a month? You're going to have to decide without this little guy right here, without it turning on city streets. You have to decide with these other numbers over here of what it currently has. And for me, the answer is barely a yes. We almost broke even here. That's my take on it. You're going to have to decide for yourself. It's going to be different for every single person, and that's the only way it can possibly be. There's no yes or no answer for everybody. Not even a general amount of people. Everyone's financial stuff is different. Everyone's driving habits are different. Everywhere you drive is different routes, different areas, different kinds of traffic. And the amount of time that you spend in your vehicle is also a huge factor. If you work from home and you drive your car like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 miles a day, then no, it's probably not worth it. But if you're driving like me, 100 to 120 to 150 miles a day, and you're spending 10 hours a week sitting in the driver's seat of your car and then some, then it might be worth it. There's so many factors. I really hope that I presented this video in a way that actually helps everyone with their own individual decision. It's the only way I could possibly do it and help everyone answer that question for themselves, because I know we're all going crazy over it and we're really trying to decide, is $200 plus tax worth it? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe later. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this video. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I'll probably see y'all tomorrow.